Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else, don't make me turn this website around.
We have Alex in New York. Thanks for waiting. How can I help?
Hi. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm a mixed bag. The world is on fire. There's an election coming. They're trying to fill Ruth's seat. Yeah.
Same. Existential dread with a smile. Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I have a question for you. And I feel like this is very much related to everything going on right now and where the lines are really being blurred between religion and government. So I'm finally getting my abuser put behind bars. And I have an interview tomorrow with the FBI. And right before, my victim's advocate, my social worker, were just talking, whatever, and they keep bringing up Jesus and how that can comfort me. And if you can pray and maybe that'll help you like calm down before the interviews and whatever. And this keeps happening and sprinkled through. And I think what they're trying to do is to comfort me and console me. But as an atheist, I find it really deeply unsettling. It's also just deeply unsettling. Why is this something that we're talking about in connection with a police investigation? What in the world? Like, I don't know how to broach this with them because, I mean, it's already a small pool. It's not like there's 45 million social workers out there just at your disposal. Like, what do I do? How do I even, like, say, hey, thanks, but no thanks? But, like, how do you even... Because it's coming from the best possible place, but it's just, like, it's so creepy.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, when you're in those one-on-one situations talking with like a caseworker, they need to be trained so that if they run across someone like you who should be free to just say, hi, I do not believe in any God, and so pointing me towards prayer is not only not a good idea, it's actively unwelcome. It would be like pointing you, if you have a God belief, pointing you to some different God, or to suggest that, if you normally pray to Jesus and things aren't going particularly well for you, maybe you should try sacrificing a chicken or a goat. And
I mean, that's what I do on my Friday evenings. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah. But it is incredibly frustrating to have. No, it's great to have the. Now, one of the things is that I will recommend contacting not just potentially recovering from religion, but the Secular Therapist Project, because that's the one thing that project is there to avoid, to make sure that if you find someone who's going to engage with you, engage in counseling, that they're not going to be pushing religion at you. I don't know if you've done that. I don't know if you have that option.
My full-time therapist, like my actual therapist that like I pay through my insurance, that whole thing. I mean, I dug through the weeds to make sure I would find myself an atheist, just to completely not have to have that be an issue. And it just sucks because, I mean, these are people that are publicly appointed. They're not like private people. It's not like there's the list of whoever. These are people who are assigned to me. And it's like, I don't want to seem ungrateful, It's just so, it's just so icky. It's just so damn icky.
I understand that. And I'm never going to try and talk someone out of being the nicer or the better person, but not wanting to seem ungrateful shouldn't come with also letting people walk all over you and just ignore who you are and what you do and don't want.
And sure, that should be it. But of course, I mean, that's how we're in a weirdly way, we're socially conditioned to just say, oh, Jesus, you must love me. My God.
Yeah.
You must be the peachiest peach that ever done did. Like, it's shitty. It's shitty that this is the cultural norm, and it's shitty that we keep blurring these lines. I mean, I heard out of a police officer's mouth, like, oh, thank Jesus that this and you, and this was all because of his will. And I'm like, oh, dear, no. I'm pretty sure Jesus had zero to do with this, and that if Jesus was real, none of this would have happened in the first place, because that's not what an omnipotent all loving and all whatever God does. It's just like, what the fuck is happening here?
In the same way that you're trying to seem like you're not unappreciative, I've done similar things, and I'm going to cut a lot of slack. There are people who will say, "Oh, thank God," and they don't actually mean a specific God. Sometimes there are things that we say that we just say. Like, I'm pretty sure that I've used the word God many, 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 many times since I stopped believing in a God. I especially like using it. I love using it as a curse phrase. I love. I many times I've probably said, "Oh my God," and it's just a saying. It does not mean that I actually have. In matter of fact, early on, I would get emails from people, and they'd say, "I was watching the Atheist Experience, and I heard you say, 'Oh my God.' Which God were you talking to? Maybe you're not really an atheist. Maybe you're seeking." And I'm just like, if there is a God, please save me from your fucking followers.
By the way, I do have to ask, I'm very curious, do you feel that Amy Coney Barrett's mess, do you think that that's emboldening people to further blur these lines? Or is it going to end up as more of a precautionary tale? Sorry, cautionary tale. I don't know why the hell I said pre. Whatever. Sorry.
So the problem here is that I'm trying to stay away from pure existential dread. Like, I wanted to have Andrew come back on with you, but I don't want to just have Andrew on every week to come in and do the actual legal heavy lifting here. Because when I look at this situation, I look at it in the sense that, first of all, even if Amy doesn't get confirmed, or even if Judge Barrett is not confirmed, we've already essentially lost the Supreme Court. And I still think that there's a high likelihood that Trump will be reelected. I know what the polls are saying. I stopped being convinced by polls in 2016. It's very difficult to make predictions. Like, I sat on stage. I was on stage in Vancouver with Richard Dawkins it would have been in October of 2016, just days before the election. And I sat there and told all my friends in Vancouver, you got nothing to worry about. There's no way in hell Trump wins. And wow, did I look incredibly stupid afterwards. And the truth is, since he lost the popular vote, I wasn't completely wrong in the sense that he did not win the popular vote. But it wouldn't surprise me if he wins again, and it wouldn't. I have almost every confidence that Judge Barrett's going to get confirmed, and I don't know. I hope it winds up being a cautionary tale that people take seriously. I hope there's a massive blue wave, and that we impeach Judge Kavanaugh, and that we expand the court. I'm in favor of all of those things. I'm in favor of Puerto Rican statehood, DC statehood. Let's get Guam, everybody. I want real reforms, because I'm tired of yelling at people for trying to be decent and then overlooking some stuff. Like, I'll have people email or jump in the show talking about how they're going to vote third party. And it's like, if you're voting third party in this election for president, you're essentially saying you're okay with 4 more years of Trump. Or you're saying you're okay with 4 more years of Biden, that you just genuinely don't care which of the two gets elected, because whatever third party person you're voting for is not going to be elected. There's like nobody on the planet who thinks that anybody other than Trump or Biden is going to be president through election. Now, there may be people who think the other means.
It's so ridiculous. This argument of third party. Yeah, in a perfect world, we should have a multi-party system, and we should have that in our electoral politics, but we just simply don't. It's a level of real delusion. And it's also just, I'm sorry, if you do that again, you forfeit the right to complain to me.
The problem is
like, that I don't want to hear about your bullshit if you're going to sit there and throw away your vote.
Yeah, I like that. The problem is, unless somebody tells me how they voted, I don't know. So
Yeah, that's
it
true.
turns out the only people who are truly getting like my ire are the ones who are happy to tell me that they're voting third party or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's going to piss off a lot of people, but one of the things that people appreciate is that I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell it how it is. And if you're voting third party, you're too stupid for me to waste time on. And if you've bothered to
Oh
tell
yeah.
me that you're voting third party after I just said that, then you just proved I was right. Because it's like, I get it. Somebody in California's going to go blue, and I don't want to vote for Biden. I don't want to vote for Trump, so I'm going to vote for Joe Jorgensen or whatever else. Um, that is a position of privilege where you now have a
Yeah.
luxury to play around with your vote. And the only reason you have that luxury is because you're trusting the polling data and the trends. And if you actually trust the polling data and the trends, then you know that your vote is wasted. You know that your vote is not going to impact this at all. And if the polling data is wrong, then you could have just helped essentially elect the person who would have been your least favorite option. And that's just, it seems weird to me.
Absolutely. And it's scary, especially in a state like California, which seems to be going more blurple with every passing electoral season. It's scary because it's like that complacency is allowing some pretty nefarious figures to wiggle their
Yep.
way on in, just because
Yep.
the people who should be there to maintain and defend the democracy just truly can't be asked.
Yep. And there are a number of issues. I mean, it's frustrating for me to watch. It's even more frustrating to have to talk about all the time. I'm going to move on here in a
Sorry.
second. I'm going to move on here in a
Yep.
second, Alex. I'm hoping that maybe we start to get some theistic callers here on the line. Especially, I should have sent an email because there was this nice Muslim fellow who actually, I'll tell the story after you tell me who's hanging up on whom.
So I would love to be able to pull the gag that the previous guy did because that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But all I can say is, damn you, you bastard. How very dare you attack my precious love, Jesus. And God, you suck. Not really, but screw you anyway. Love ya.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.